13 points on what a Russian invasion of Crimea might mean, and refers to Russia as the RU, Russian Union. Nobody calls it that. Nobody says that, except eggheads in the State Department somewhere. Point being that he's an idiot. We know Hunter's an idiot. So for him to write such a detailed memo about the geopolitical impacts of Russia invading Crimea and what that would mean to energy prices and the European Union and the stability of the region and blah, 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 he doesn't know any of that stuff. It's like when the guy in class who has not been there all year turns in a term paper about the presidency and you go, wow, how did you know any of this stuff? And it's very obvious he didn't. Somebody wrote it for him. He paid somebody to write that, or he used Chat GPT or whatever. That's the new thing. But that email is very telling. The question is, did Hunter Biden have access to classified documents that would help him prepare that for his flying policeman? Well, we know he had access to the documents. We know he had access to the Corvette, that sweet Corvette. We know the boxes that was marked important docs, DOC apostrophe S, was just sitting there. Just sitting there. If you can connect all these dots on the Hunter Biden laptop and the emails and everything, you've got a real major political problem here. You've got the betrayal of the United States of America by an idiot son and the father who's the president enriching himself off of all this, because when he was vice president, he helped his son accomplish all these things, flying him in Air Force Two to China with his buddies, having all these meetings. It's the kind of thing that can destroy a presidential candidate if this all comes out, say, in September of 2024. I don't think Democrats want to take that chance. So if you've noticed now, when the media is critical of the Bidens, ask yourself why. Who's given them the permission to go after the Bidens? I think they want to take him out. That's what I think. And I think they know because something bad is coming. Hunter Biden's dirty and Joe Biden's dirty, and this is all coming out. And it's going to destroy that candidacy, and there's just far too much money on the table for them to take that chance. 877-381-3811. It is the Mark Levin Show. It's me, Rich Zeoli, with you, coming right back.
Mark Levin.
Boston's conservative talk. Talk 1200.
You know, America has ruined the word woke. It was a good word. Once upon a time, it meant that you were asleep, but then you weren't anymore. Now, if you go to Alabama, you can find a betting company that knows the old-fashioned meaning of the word woke. For the last 6 years, Redland Cotton has been making 100% cotton bedding that's grown on their family farm, milled in the southeast, and sewn in Mississippi. These sheets are heirloom-inspired with a weave from the 1920s. You can remember waking up on your grandma's bedding. You know what these sheets felt like, right? Soft but crisp, cool in the summer but warm in the winter. There's no modern woke foolishness with this company. Redland Cotton woke up and is focused on creating bedding with American craftsmanship and luxury of the past. So get woke, America. Just go to redlandcotton.com. Save 20% on your first purchase with code LEVIN. That's redlandcotton.com, code LEVIN, L-E-V-I-N, for 20% off your first purchase.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Did you know you could be driving in a pile of cash, like right now? Bumper.com makes it easy to know what your car is worth. The used car market is hot right now. Bumper.com could be your chance to cash in. Bumper.com lets you know what your car is worth based on your car's specific details. So whether you're selling or just want to know, Bumper.com makes it easy. Bumper.com could be your opportunity to make some bank. Know what your car is worth. Just go to Bumper.com. Bumper reports are based upon data available. Bumper may not have the complete historical records of every vehicle.
Big tech is a real danger. Now, Congressman Ken Buck's new book exposes their censorship. It's called Crushed, Big Tech's War on Free Speech. Google, Facebook, and Twitter suppress the truth about Hunter's laptop, COVID, Trump, and more. If you're tired of their liberal bias and how Google uses Gmail and YouTube TV to censor you, get Crushed, an Amazon bestseller. Find Ken Buck's Crushed at bookstores or see the free offer from Newsmax. Go to crush911.com. That's crush911.com.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released. Paul McCartney and Wings band On the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan at the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number, and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Info at the speed of light.
Talk radio is nice because it keeps you informed.
Talk 1200. Need to know what happened. Boston's new home for conservative thinking.
Many conservatives don't know that one of the biggest propagandists for President Biden's ridiculously named Inflation Reduction Act was the AARP. AARP, this so-called advocate for seniors, spent millions of dollars on ads and events helping liberals in Congress pass this monstrous legislation. In doing so, AARP provided cover for vulnerable Democrats in the November elections. Why would AARP do this? Possibly for money? AARP has a massive conflict of interest. Over the last decade, they've been paid north of $6 billion stemming from its financial relationship with United Healthcare. And along comes the AARP-supported Inflation Reduction Act. And miraculously, big insurance and their PBM middlemen, like AARP's financial partner United Healthcare, emerge as big winners. Please visit this great website to learn more. CommitmentToSeniors.org. That's CommitmentToSeniors.org. Paid for by American Commitment.
Mark Levin. You sound like you saw on the Mark Levin Radio Show.
Show. We are just cooking with gasoline today. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, was it a vast right-wing conspiracy that they wanted to ban gas stoves? You know, we just made it up. No, it was not. Richard Trumka Jr. was an odd-looking man with a big mustache. That's probably the only redeeming quality about him. He actually wrote a memo. The Consumer Product Safety Commission wrote a memo saying that they have the right to ban gas stoves in the name of the children, because some children might be asthmatic. So this guy wrote a memo actually arguing that the Consumer Product Safety Commission had an obligation, a responsibility, and the authority to ban gas stoves. Now, I can tell you, as an Italian and a chef, I'm not a chef, but I like to pretend I am. I love to cook. I cook on gas, period. I got a nice big gas burner oven. I love it. I love to cook on it. It's great. I can control the temperature, control the flames. There's a lot of restaurants out there that feel exactly the same way. And if the government came along and said, we're banning natural gas stoves, we're banning gas, they would have to spend a lot of money to convert. And small businesses don't have that kind of cash. They don't have that kind of capital, not after COVID especially. But also, too, in your home, what right does the government have to come in and say, you can't have a gas stove? It doesn't. So now what they want to do is they want to regulate the hell out of those gas stoves to make it so that you'll just decide not to buy one. You'll just decide to walk away. But I couldn't believe it. As I'm sitting there and I'm reading this memo from the Consumer Product Safety Commission saying, we have the right and the responsibility because of asthmatic children, and we have to turn around now, and we've got to ban these things in your home, and yes, we can do this, and we have the right and we have the power to do so. I mean, these people are monsters, are they not? They think they can do anything they want without any repercussions whatsoever. And they don't think Congress matters because it doesn't. They're not worried about Congress overriding them. They're not worried about Congress doing anything. So they just think they can do it themselves all the time. But gas stoves live to fight another day. That's the good news. They live to fight another day. How much legal trouble is Hunter Biden in? The answer for you upon my return. It is the Mark Levin Show. Coming right back.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Not me. Nuh-uh. Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music, playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent?
What?
Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the
Boston's conservative talk is Talk 1200. Download the free iHeart Radio app for all your news, music, radio, and podcasts. This is Boston's home for conservative talk. WSKSAM News Boston, WCLX FM HD3 Boston.
I'm Lisa Sarah, Fox News. The Pentagon says a second Chinese surveillance balloon has been spotted. This one's over Latin America. Yesterday, a spy balloon was seen over Montana. It's now making its way east. The incident caused Secretary of State Antony Blinken to postpone this weekend's planned trip to Beijing. He said lines of communication remain open.
The world expects the United States and China to manage our relationship responsibly. And indeed, addressing many of today's global challenges that affect the lives of our people and people around the world, demand that we find a way to work together as well. The United States will continue to act in a way that reflects that responsibility. We look to our PRC counterparts to do the same.
China's foreign ministry says the balloon incident was an accident and accuses American politicians and media of taking advantage of the situation to discredit China. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte outraged the Pentagon didn't shoot it down.
If it was up to Montanans, this thing would have been taken out of the sky the moment it entered our sovereign airspace.
The Pentagon says if it tried to shoot it down, it could have harmed Americans due to a potentially large debris field. President Biden talked about the economy and other topics during his remarks to Democrats gathered in Philadelphia.
On the heels of a positive January jobs report, President Joe Biden addressed members of the Democratic National Committee at their winter meeting in Philadelphia.
Strongest 2 years of growth in history by a long shot. 3.4% unemployment, the lowest in 54 years.
He also promised to build on the accomplishments of his first 2 years.
I intend to get it done, more done. So let me ask you a simple question. Are you with me?
The president heads to Camp David tomorrow ahead of Tuesday's State of the Union address.
Fox's Tanja Powers. He has planned trips to Wisconsin and Florida next week. America is listening to Fox News.
It all started with the brutal murder of a young married couple. Now, more than 40 years after the couple was found, investigators and forensic genealogists are cracking the case wide open to uncover a stunning executive mystery. Where's the baby?
I said, well, wait, he had a baby?
We cross the country speaking with victims' families and those close to the case as we ask, what about Holly?
I just want to know what happened.
Available on FoxNewsPodcasts.com and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
From the Fox News Podcasts Network. Listen to the all-new Bret Baier podcast featuring Common Ground, talking to lawmakers weekly from opposite sides of the political spectrum about the issues of the day and how Americans can find common ground in a politicized world.
That's just not happening on Capitol Hill. It takes leadership, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Along with all your Bret Baier favorites like the campaign, the candidates, the all-star panel, and much more. Available now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Dan Watkins with a quick check of the stories trending on WBZ News Radio 1030. The region's power grid says they're prepared to handle this extreme cold. ISO New England says they're expecting to see the highest demand so far this winter, but they're, quote, anticipating normal power system operations, even having a surplus of power available. Warming centers are open at 4 BCYF locations across Boston. A cold emergency will continue through Saturday, and the owner of a small business on the North Shore is getting plenty of support as she deals with breast cancer. WBZ's Carl Stevens with the story.
Lisa Bamer, who had surgery a couple weeks ago, is dealing with breast cancer. She owns a gift shop here called The Hiccup. And when she told her 3 kids she had cancer, they stepped in to help keep the business going. Helped move it online. The daughter helps out at the store. Was Lisa surprised?
Yeah, I guess I was very surprised. But now in hindsight, I'm not, because they're great kids.
I'm Dan Watkins.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis, but this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. Visit us at earthjustice.org.
And now for today's Roblox winter weather alert. iHeartland on Roblox has been walloped by a winter snowstorm. It is a winter wonderland. You can now ice skate at State Farm Park. In State Farm Neighborhood, you can compete in snowball fights, grab a hot cocoa and cookies, and more. There's also special events from your favorite artists and podcasters all month, along with scavenger hunts, exclusive content, and unique items. So enjoy the festive winter weather at iHeartland on Roblox. Head to iHeartRadio.com/iHeartland today.
I'm Jason Flom, founding board member of the Innocence Project, and my new podcast is Wrongful Conviction, available on iHeartRadio. On Wrongful Conviction, I interview a different exoneree every week and help them to tell their incredible stories of tragedy and triumph against impossible odds. You've got to hear it to believe it. Wrongful Conviction from iHeart Studios, available now on iHeartRadio.
Why should you pay attention to the news? It affects everything.
The news, opinions, and reactions. 24/7. Boston's new home for conservative thinking. Talk 1200.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
All right, America, it is hour number 3 here on the Mark Levin Show. The great one is off tonight. It is me, Rich Zioli, with you from WPHT in Philadelphia, Mark's hometown, one of his wonderful affiliates and a fellow Levinite. So it's great to be with you tonight. The balloon, the spy balloon. How did we allow this to cross onto our mainland of a country? I'm just curious about that. Aren't you curious about that? Do we not have NORAD, which tracks Santa Claus and all these other things, that we didn't see this thing coming? And really, I mean, legit, is it too high up in the sky? Is that what it is? Is that the problem? Because it seems like if that is the case, we have some major problems in the future. If these balloons can go really, really high up, so high up that we can't see them, let alone pop them, could be a problem for us. Ask yourself this question. If Joe Biden was really concerned with this spy balloon and wanted to send a message to China, would he do it? Would he do it? Ask yourself that question. The answer, of course, lies in his son, Hunter Biden. Crackhead, idiot son, who we know is on China's payroll. The answer lies there. I think China has so much on this guy and so much on this family that this president would never dare stand up to China. Would never dare. Look, I got news for you. This is a big country. We have a lot of undeveloped land. We have a lot of rural land. The idea that America doesn't have enough room for everybody, that we need to stop having children because we don't have enough places to build houses is all a lie. There's plenty of room. We could shoot this thing down very easily and nobody would even notice. There's so much undeveloped rural land in this country with woods and fields and farms and everything else. And we have all these neat ways to track where it is so we could know, hey, it's going over a big, gigantic farm. And we could evacuate everybody and shoot it the hell down if we wanted to. If we wanted to, we don't. We don't. Now, it's either for one of two things. And don't give me this whole shrapnel argument. That's a bunch of malarkey. No, it's one of two reasons. Number one, the reason is because we're worried about what's on there, which could cause a major, major problem for the United States of America. Or number two, it's because Joe Biden is so beholden to China, he does not want to upset them. And China knows that, and China can do anything it wants to this country, as long as this guy's president. It's one of the two. And if I were president, and I think if a Republican were president, they would shoot it down just for the street cred alone. Because in politics, something like this is a political no-brainer. As long as we don't think there's something on board that, if it blows up, would be really, really bad. I mean, think about it. He's sitting there in the Oval Office. Guys come in and go, Mr. President, we have this spy balloon flying over America. People are freaking out about this. What do you want to do? Well, shoot it down. It's the size of a school bus. Well, Mr. President, it's going to fall 200,000 feet and boom. All right, here's what we do. Follow the trajectory, find the biggest rural area you can. When it gets over that rural area, shoot it down. And I will be the guy that said to China, you will not fly your spy balloons over my country. You don't do this. All right? You don't do this. Why wouldn't I, though? Unless the intelligence community came to me and said, but Mr. President, we think that there might be something on board that could be really, really bad. Some sort of an EMP, some sort of a nuclear bomb, some sort of a biological chemical weapon, we just don't know. And then I would turn around and I would say, how the hell do you people not know? Or how do you think it's possible that they could have this and we are having this conversation? That's the question I want to know. Why are we having this conversation? If you think China has the capability to load up a spy balloon with the kind of things that could hurt our country, why are we having this conversation? Why wasn't that thing shot down before it ever crossed over the United States mainland? Why? Why not? And they say, well, Mr. President, it's a variety of factors and the winds and the blah, blah, blah. I go, whoa, hey. This is our airspace. My job as Commander-in-Chief is to keep that airspace free and clear from our enemies. I'm not looking to invade a country. I'm not looking to take over anybody else's country. I'm not looking to start a war. I'm not looking to have an endless war. But I have a job to do. I took an oath. I swore an oath on the United States Constitution before God to protect this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And this is our airspace. And you're telling me that a spy balloon that could potentially have maybe something really bad on it was able to breach our airspace and nobody knew about this? We don't have an alert system at the Pentagon. I have a Ring doorbell. Every time somebody walks by the house, the damn thing goes off. Constantly, all day, I'm getting updates on this thing. So I turned it off. I couldn't take it anymore. I did. Now it's I shouldn't say this on the air, but it's kind of a fugazi just to, in case people think, you know what I mean? But, well, maybe should have said that. But don't worry, the house is heavily protected by Smith & Wesson and Sig Sauer. So don't worry about a thing. You're fine if you ever try to come here. Trust me. But I would say, you're telling me we don't have, like, rapid alert system, so there's a giant spy balloon crossing into our airspace and we don't know, the alarm doesn't go off, nothing? You have, like, cars in the mall and the alarms start going off if you get too close. Fireworks set them off. We don't know about a spy balloon. And I think that what they would turn around, they'd say, well, Mr. President, you have to understand, it came to the Aleutian Islands, and then the wind took it, and then the wind, blah, 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 blah. Whoa! When did you guys think to yourselves that maybe this balloon could have something on there that's bad? When? When it got here or before? It's a question I would ask. See, my point is that if the United States of America has reason to believe that this could be a trial run for something, or that China has the capability to use these giant balloons that can fly 200,000 feet above our airspace, or 66,000 feet above our airspace, or whatever it is, and we believe that that could be the case where they could deliver something nefarious to our country, why did we ever allow it to cross into our airspace in the first place? And no one seems to be able to answer that question for me. No one. And nobody seems to be asking. If the president's not answering, he's not going to say anything. But if I were him, and if I were the Gang of Eight, you know, Kevin McCarthy and the leaders in the Senate and the House, I would be demanding that answer. I want to understand this. How is it possible this thing, which is maneuverable, was able to cross into our airspace? I'm going to play this clip again. I played it before, but let's play it again, Mr. Producer. Let's do that. Cut number 5, Brigadier General Patrick Ryder asked the question about the balloon being able to maneuver. Cut number 5.
It's moving eastward, and it's over the continental U.S. It's not over Montana anymore. Is the Chinese government controlling the movement of the balloon, or is it just floating with airstream?
Thanks, Jennifer. So I'm not going to go into any specific intelligence that we may have. Again, we know this is a Chinese balloon and that it has the ability to maneuver, but I'll just leave it at that.
It has the ability to maneuver. I'll just leave it at that. So then the question is, if it has the ability to maneuver, why don't we turn around and say, maneuver, away, or we're shooting you down when you're over the ocean, within a couple miles of the United States of America? I mean, these are the questions that I have to ask. If this is no big deal, that a spy balloon is over the United States of America, okay, cool, great, let me know, because I didn't get the memo. I didn't get the memo that it's no big deal, that a spy balloon violating our airspace, and we let it violate our airspace. See, that's the piece I can't figure out. Can you? Do you have an answer for that for me? If you do, 877-381-3811. I'd love to hear it, or you can tweet me at Rich Zeoli, R-I-C-H-Z-E-O-L-I. I'm trying to think about how I could explain this to like a couple guys sitting around having beers, and thinking about my buddies and sitting there and, you know, smoking a cigar or something, drinking a bourbon, having a conversation with them. And the question that I think would keep coming up is, how did this cross into our airspace in the first place? And no one knows. Canada now is apparently investigating another one of these. But I'd like to know. We're not getting answers on this now. Now, what's the future photography? What's the future plan if China wants to fly another one of these balloons? Do we have a balloon, early warning balloon system? Early warning balloon sirens? I mean, what's the plan here? I'd like to know. Here is, I want to play this clip for you. I played this earlier, but it's worth playing again, and I think it's really important. I'm not sure if I played it before, but let's do this. Cut number 8.
You said that this is violating our airspace, so why not take it down?
Yeah, so, clearly as we assess options and considering the size of the payload on this, looking at the potential for debris and the impact on civilians on the ground or property damage, again, running through the various factors and looking at in terms of, does it pose a potential risk to people while in the air? And right now, as I mentioned, we assess that it does not pose a risk to people on the ground as it currently is traversing the continental United States. And so out of an abundance of passion, cognizant of the potential impact to civilians on the ground from the debris field, right now we're going to continue to monitor and review options.
All right? We're going to monitor and review options. We're going to monitor and review options. Okay. Very good. What do you think would happen if we did this to China, just out of curiosity, if we flew a gigantic spy balloon over China, how do you think China would react to that? Would they be 5 minutes away? Yeah, China, it's all good. Yeah, just kind of float over. How many countries around the world would be okay with that? There's probably a reason why this is a rare occurrence. And don't give me this, well, it's happened before nonsense. That's not the point. The point is what's happening right now as we speak in this country and what the ramifications are for that in the future. That's the question. I'll tell you one thing. This thing right now has been spying on us for so long and uploading that data to China in real time. This isn't like you have to load it into the old VCR and then get home and transfer the tape over. No, they have been spying on our air bases, spying on our ICBM locations, spying on God only knows what else, and transmitting that data to China in real time, this entire time. I think it's the other thing, too, they're not telling us, which is that this isn't a couple guys up there, with some cameras, taking pictures down. This is very sophisticated intelligence, very sophisticated spyware that these guys have, and maneuverable. By who? Is there someone in there driving it? Piloting it? Is there someone, or is this done by a computer, by a drone, by an app? Can we hack it and bring it down ourselves? These are the questions I have. These are the questions I would ask the President of the United States, but he's not talking. He has no interest in talking. He has no interest in reassuring the American people. Why? Because he's bought and paid for by China. That's why. 877-381-3811. This is the Mark Levin Show. Coming right back.
Mark Levin. Boston's home for conservative talk. Talk 1200.
If one of your goals this year is to do business with companies who share your values, then hop on the Pure Talk bandwagon. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, is the antidote to woke wireless. That's why they're proudly veteran-owned, why they proudly employ a U.S.-based customer service team, and why they refuse to spend their money on fake news networks. And I haven't even started talking about the service it kicks butt, one of the largest networks in the country. You're going to get blazing fast data, talk, and text for just $30 a month. That's probably half of what you're paying Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Keep your phone, keep your number, and switch over in as little as 10 minutes. Plus, Pure Talk has a first-month risk-free guarantee. Try it, and if you're not completely happy with your Pure Talk service, you'll get your money back. Dial pound 250 and say Mark Levin, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, dial pound 250, say Mark Levin. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless.
The Jim Polito Show, now on Talk 1200.
Hi, Jim Polito here, back in Boston, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, here on Boston's Conservative Talk, Talk 1200. Moving in next door to Glenn, Clay, Buck, Sean, Joe Pags, and Mark Levin. What a great neighborhood to wake up in.
The Jim Polito Show, every weekday morning starting at 5 on Boston's Conservative Talk, Talk 1200.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else. And we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to tell you how iHeartMedia can work for you. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say keyword great results. That's pound 250 and say great results.
Hey, it's the Cooner Man. Do you have joint pain, hip pain, back pain, elbow pain, arthritis? Well, look at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses regenerative medicine because people who have joint pain are getting real lasting relief, no drugs or surgery. Times have changed. Regenerative medicine can get you moving again with no downtime. Stop taking these pain meds. Discover this remarkable alternative that professional athletes have been using for years. So don't put it off any longer. Call QC Kinetics now, 617-644-PAIN. 3 clinics in Weymouth, Lawrence, and Lowell. More on the way. For a free consultation, call 617-644-PAIN. 617-644-PAIN.
iHeartRadio presents the top Taylor Swift songs you've summed up. Number 3, Style.
feel free speech.
And all right, tonight, number 1, Wildest Dreams. Sam Wilson, Taylor Swift, and similar artists now on Taylor Swift Radio. Search for Taylor Swift on iHeartRadio.
Some people never shut up. Shut up already. And that's why we're here.
Everybody else should just shut up and listen.
Boston's new home for conservative thinking.
With the economy, we all need as much help as we can get. If you own a business, you're looking for ways to survive. Innovation refunds can help. Small business owners, please listen up. You can be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Now, this isn't a loan. There's no payback. It's a refund of your taxes. Go to GetRefunds.com. Their tax attorneys are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you, too. Go to GetRefunds.com. They do all the work with no charge up front. They simply charge a percentage of the cash that they get for you. Go to GetRefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. It's that simple. Now, this payroll tax refund is only available for a very limited amount of time, so check it out right away. GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
The radio sensation that's sweeping the nation.
Spicy as ever.
Please welcome Mark Levin.
All right, as we continue here on the Mark Levin Show, great to be with you tonight. I gotta tell you, in Pennsylvania, something very important happened, and that is Mark Houck. He's a pro-life activist. He was found not guilty by a federal jury in violation of the FACE Act, which is the Freedom of Access to an Abortion Clinic Act nonsense. But what's interesting about that, and I'm sure you've heard about it, I know Mark talked about it, this man did nothing wrong. The weaponized Department of Justice in this country decided to go after him, to prosecute him, to send a message. And they do this all the time. Jim Jordan, Congressman Jim Jordan, has decided now they're going to have an investigation into that school board's letter. Remember the school board's letter from Merrick Garland, the Attorney General? Turning around telling all the moms out there and the dads out there, hey, you better be quiet at those school board meetings. Don't you speak up, because maybe the FBI will be in the back of the room just watching you. You remember that? Well, now they're going to have hearings into that letter. There's a collusion between the United States Department of Justice and the National School Boards Association, specifically done to intimidate parents, specifically done to intimidate you. Now, I've said this before. The fight of our lives right now is the school board. And we need great candidates to run for local school boards across this country. Because that's where the battle is. That's where the battle is. But when you think about what occurred here in this country, when a mom and dad were told that they were potential domestic terrorists, why? Because they didn't want them speaking out against CRT. They didn't want them speaking out against mandated vaccines. They didn't want them speaking out against mask mandates. They didn't want them speaking out against transgender studies for their 3-year-olds. So they said, look, you might be a DV, a domestic violent extremist. I know you're just a mom in yoga pants, but you might be a domestic violent extremist. And also, you probably don't do yoga. Let's be honest. So they intimidate you, and then you sit down and you shut up. Because you have a nice job, you have a nice community, and you don't want to have several big black Suburbans pull up in front of your house and a bunch of heavily armed agents running out there with windbreakers and vests in front of all your neighbors. Because that could be very bad for you. So what happens? You just sit down, you comply. And then they win. Well, the House Judiciary Committee has subpoenaed the Attorney General of the United States, the FBI chief, and the Education Secretary, requesting documents on the Biden administration's targeting of parents for exercising their First Amendment rights at school board meetings. Jim Jordan, great guy, issued subpoenas on Friday to the heads of the Justice Department, FBI, and Department of Education. The subpoenas, which Jordan noted, are his first as chairman, sent to the Biden administration require Attorney General Merrick Garland, FBI Director Christopher Wray, and Education Secretary Miguel Cardona to turn over all documents on the topic by March 1st. Quote, since October 2021, Judiciary Committee Republicans have sent over 100 letters to Biden administration officials requesting answers about how the administration used federal counterterrorism resources against American parents. This is the very powerful weaponization of the Federal Government Committee and also the House Oversight Committee as well. Whistleblowers have claimed that the FBI's counterterrorism and criminal divisions created a specific threat tag for school board-related threats, and even open investigations into parents simply for speaking out on behalf of their children. Republicans outlined those claims in a November report on the politicization of the DOJ and the FBI. School board meetings across the country have intensified and grown violent in recent years, NBC News says. Let me ask you a question. If a school board meeting gets violent, who should deal with that, in your opinion? The FBI or the local police department? I've been in government in the past. I've worked in politics for a long time. These are local issues. Why would you make this a federal case? Unless that's the point. We're coming right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-898-6155 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-898-6155. That's 800-898-6155. What do you have to lose? Call 800-898-6155. Again, 800-898-6155.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music, playing track now.
No, let me try.
Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent?
What?
Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
Because I'm Carmen Roberts. Weather forecasters say that massive suspected spy balloon is likely headed for North Carolina.
Fox News has learned the Chinese spy balloon could exit U.S. continental territory, moving off the East Coast in the next 60 hours. The balloon was most recently seen flying over Missouri.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin. Beijing admits the balloon is Chinese, but calls it a weather observatory. Secretary of State Blinken postponed his trip to China as the U.S. deals with the controversy. People in New England urged to stay inside overnight, or at least really bundle up.
New England could see wind chills of minus 30 to minus 45 degrees, while it could feel even colder in Maine. People in the northern and western parts of Maine could see wind chills of minus 50 or more.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. And California says it's dropping its COVID vaccine mandate for K-12 schools. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Dan Watkins with a quick check of the stories trending on WBZ News Radio 1030. City of Boston remains under a cold emergency tonight. WBZ's Kim Tunnicliffe checked in with the mayor, who is pleading with residents to stay inside.
The cold is bad enough. Wind added to the mix. It's downright brutal. So it feels like it's ripping right through you. Residents to stay indoors if they can. If they have to be outside, try not to be out of the elevator for too long. Even being outside for sort of 20-30 minutes can be quite risky. So if you must go outside, please bundle up.
Extreme cold like this can cause major problems for the MBTA, but the T says they have a plan in place to try and limit the impacts of this sub-zero weather. Interim GM Jeff Gonville says it's important to keep the trains warmed up, so they'll be running them either at or close close to regular schedules. Same thing with buses, and maintenance teams will be out making sure that things run smoothly. I'm Dan Watkins.
The Jim Polito Show, now on Talk 1200.
Hi, Jim Polito here. No new kid on the block. I'm back in Boston and joining the incredible lineup here on Boston's Conservative Talk, Talk 1200. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9. I guarantee you have not had this much fun waking up on the right side of the bed.
The Jim Polito Show, every weekday morning starting at 5 on Boston's Conservative Talk, Talk 1200.
The podcast Murder in Miami traces the connection between the killing of a private investigator and an international money laundering scheme. It's a shocking, surreal story of spies, smugglers, and corruption in the city that was the nation's cocaine and murder capital in the 1980s.
Did he tell you who he was running the guns for?
Well, it was obvious. The CIA was running that show. Listen to Murder in Miami on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know you could be driving in a pile of cash, like right now? Bumper.com makes it easy to know what your car is worth. The used car market is hot right now. Bumper.com could be your chance to cash in. Bumper.com lets you know what your car is worth based on your car's specific details. So whether you're selling or just want to know, Bumper.com makes it easy. Bumper.com could be your opportunity to make some bank. Know what your car is worth. Just go to Bumper.com. Bumper reports are based upon data available. Bumper may not have the complete historical records of every vehicle.
The news, opinions, and reactions 24/7.
I think it's important to pay attention to the news so that you know what's going on in the world.
Boston's new home for conservative thinking. Talk 1200.
Mark doesn't suffer fools well. So, if you're a fool, don't call 877-381-3811.
Some breaking news here on the Mark Levin Show. The United States government says another giant Chinese spy balloon is traveling over Latin America and apparently headed here. Pentagon spokesperson Brigadier General Pat Ryder told Fox News Friday night that, quote, "We are seeing reports of a balloon transiting Latin America. We now assess it is another Chinese surveillance balloon." Jennifer Griffin posting the story just a short time ago. We don't have any other details of that. Charlie Kirk is reporting that there was a big explosion outside of Montana in the night sky, and they're wondering if they shot down the Chinese spy